And first tonight, the rising tide of people being fined for breaking coronavirus laws. The last month saw over 1,000 fines handed out in the East Midlands for COVID breaches. One senior police officer says that many went to large groups who ignored restrictions when the weather improved. Our social affairs correspondent Jeremy Ball reports.
Letting off steam after months of lockdown at Nottingham's Arboretum, dozens of people here ended up with coronavirus fines. Politicians who set the rules have been trying to strike a balance between protecting our freedom and protecting thousands of lives. Here's how many COVID fines have been issued by the police across Derbyshire, Leicestershire and Nottinghamshire. There have been over 6,500 fixed penalties in just over a year. But more than 1,000 of those fines were handed out in the most recent 5 weeks.
I think we saw a bit of a perfect storm. We saw some very hot weather that took place. We saw the easing of restrictions just on the horizon. But we also saw a significant infection rate that was in Mansfield at the time. So we had to take the necessary action to make sure that people stayed safe. Some of the offences that we've enforced on have involved hundreds of people. That sees a significant number of fines taking place in a very short spell of time. Most people across Nottinghamshire are still complying with the rules and regulations.
Policing a pandemic was never going to be easy, of course. Restrictions are unpopular, they're complex and they're constantly changing. Most people have been fined for gathering outdoors or meeting in each other's homes, but some of the restrictions have been enforced much more sparingly.
It's unacceptable.
Those include blatant breaches of the regulations at parties. There's now a £10,000 fine for organising gatherings of over 30 people. That sanction's been used 45 times across the 3 police forces. Another 46 people have been fined for refusing to wear face coverings. 29 were caught breaking international travel restrictions. And there have been just 7 fixed penalties for failing to self-isolate. So are those being taken less seriously?
No, we're not turning a blind eye. We've seen very few calls in relation to people not wearing face coverings. A lot of that's dealt with by shopkeepers or those who manage public transport, and very few calls indeed about people not self-isolating. But when we do, we will respond.
Nottinghamshire Police say the number of fines has started to fall since restrictions eased last month. But there's still one big question. How many of those fines have been paid? Jeremy Ball, BBC East Midlands Today.